Welcome everyone to week 9 of You and I Together, the fall series. We appreciate all of you can come and learn how to make ice cream in a bag with us. We're going to learn a little bit of the science behind it before we dive into the fun. But before we even get that far, we're going to do a little bit introducing. All right, so at the University of Idaho Extension, we have a practical education you can trust. We specialize in research-based learning. So we have research centers, we have professors on campus, we have colleagues across the country who will learn stuff, research stuff, and then has extension. It's our responsibility to take that out into the community and teach the general public. And so we have another example here. It's a brief video for everybody to watch.
University of Idaho Extension is helping Idahoans care for private and public lands through education to landowners, natural resource managers, and forest industries. From forest insects and diseases to wildland fire, stream protection, rangeland conservation, and logger education, UI Extension is guaranteeing the sustainability of our land for the future.
So that's a little bit about the university. Now it's time for me to tell you a little bit myself. My name's Andrew Bingham. I'm an extension educator. I actually specialize in personal finance, though. I am one of the very few extension educators in the state of Idaho that gets to focus specifically on finance. So that includes subjects like budgeting, of course. Investing is one of my favorite topics. I do quite a bit with retirement planning, one-on-one coaching and planning, as well as covering Social Security benefits, one of my more popular subjects. But then I also do some for 4-H youth development, includes 3D printing and STEM learning. So I've got a couple 3D printers in my office, and we do a few day camps. We had a number of them this summer, and we have a lot coming up because we required money for additional 3D printing and STEM learning. And then, of course, ice cream. And I'm not going to share a picture with ice cream because we're just going to do it hands-on. All right, so before we jump into the demonstration, there are 5 components of ice cream. The first one is going to be water and ice. Now, if you look at the recipe, you'll see there's really just 3 ingredients, right? It's salt, half and half, vanilla, sugar. So I guess 4. And you can count ice if you want, but the ice isn't actually going into the ice cream. It's just helping us freeze the half and half. The water is actually already built into the half and half. I apologize, I didn't introduce my helpers. You saw him in the previous picture. This is Dean. He is on my right. He is 6 years old, and this is Felicity. So these are my 2 oldest kids. The third one you just heard, he is not even 2 yet, although he is pretty eager to try and help anyways. So these guys are going to help with the demonstration today. They're also going to be making ice cream in a bag along with us. All right, so apologize, I got ahead of myself there. So the first ingredient is water and ice. Now, the water is actually already in the half and half. You just can't see it. Most things that we drink or consume have water built into them already. As we make the ice cream, the water inside the half and half is going to freeze and make little crystals. And so our job is actually to break those crystals up, make them small enough that we can't really tell that they're even crystals there. The other ingredient is fat or cream. So shocker that the 2 most important ingredients in ice cream is ice and cream. Cream provides flavor. The cream molecules, the fat molecules, are really good at absorbing flavor. They also provide texture, so they make that creamy texture in ice cream, and structure. So there's air that goes into your ice cream, and the fat in the cream kind of helps it stand up despite the fact there's air inside your ice cream. Protein, to a lesser extent, is an ingredient in ice cream. It acts as a binding agent, so it kind of keeps the water within your ice cream from collecting together and making big ice chunks. Sugar acts kind of in a similar way. It, of course, provides flavor, but also texture in that it's also a binding agent. It keeps the ice from freezing completely. So again, keeping it so we can't tell there's actually ice crystals in our ice cream. And then, of course, there is air. All right, so those are the 5 components that you need to make ice cream. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stop screen sharing here, and we're going to jump into our hands-on portion. This is the fun stuff, right? So as a recap, and this will also answer the question that we got in the chat earlier. If you take a look at your ingredient or your recipe, you will see that at the top there's a list of ingredients, but the list of ingredients doesn't match the ingredients that's actually in the instructions. That's because with the recipe that I found, you could customize it to 1 serving or 2 serving. By default, the recipe has 2 servings. So what you see in the instructions is for 2 servings. What you see in the ingredients is for 1. So the reason we did that is it's kind of customizable. If you want to do 1 serving for this demonstration, then just follow the ingredients at the top of the recipe. If you want to do 2 servings, you can just follow the ingredients that are in the recipe itself. For those of you who received kits from University of Idaho Extension, you received enough ingredients to do 2 servings. So good for you, lucky kids. You can make a full 2 cups of ice cream with the material that you have received. So let's recap what you will need. So first, you will need your 1/2 and 1/2, right? You will need sugar. You need salt. The recipe calls for vanilla, but you can actually use any kind of flavor extract that you like. So we have mint here, we have a coconut one, and I don't know, almond. I tend to like almond flavors, even though it's a little bland to most. And then of course, your ice. And you'll need at least 2 baggies. For those of you, again, who have received the kit, you actually have 3 per individual. So your little bag is the one that your 1/2 and 1/2 sugar and flavor is going to go into. The middle bag, it's not 100% necessary, but as you can see in the instructions, they recommend that if you don't have like a name brand bag, you might want to double bag it for safety measures to either keep the salt off of your primary bag, or even to make sure that if one bag opens, you're not going to make a giant mess. And then your biggest bag of all, which again for us is going to be a quart size. This is what your ice and salt is going to go into. So I believe that's all that you need. What is also recommended is paper towels. If you have dish towels of some sort, or even gloves, as you hold the bag of ice, it's actually going to be really cold, even colder than ice. And so you'll want something to keep your hands from getting super, super cold. If you have gloves, I believe Felicity, you can show them the gloves. Great, you can use those as well. If you are attending from one of our sites, one of our larger groups, classrooms, after school programs, whatever it is, you can get a little bit creative, maybe use a jacket, maybe you wore school or gloves to school today. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, one reason I like these little bags is because if you can see on there, it tells you, 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, 3/4 cup, 1 cup. Now that makes it nice and convenient for this particular activity, because now we can just fill it up to either the 1/2 cup or the 1 cup line, depending on how much ice cream you want. So Dean, I'm going to have you fill that up for me here very carefully, and I'll tell you when. Go on, go, go, go. A little faster. All right, and that's good. Good job, bud. All right, now you put in about 1 tablespoon of sugar into your mix. This depends on how sweet you want your ice cream, right? So I've done a few examples or a few test runs with this recipe. For me, I don't teach nutrition, I teach finance. So I say the richer the better, right? So I do a little more than 1 table. That might be a little much, but we'll go with almost 2 tablespoons in this particular serving. And then we put our flavor in it, right? All right, so you select your flavor. Okay, pick the mint one. Dean, is opting to go with the mint extract. All right, now open it up and put just a little bit in there. That's good, that's good. All right, and then very carefully, you're going to zip this bag up. Now, wiggle it around a little bit, make sure that sugar and half gets mixed in. Don't be too aggressive with it because again, it's just one seal right now. So Dean, you hold on to that one. All right, and then we're gonna go over to Miss Felicity. I'm just gonna have you hold this one, okay? Can you hold it on both sides? Again, half and half. Can you hold up a little higher? All right, keep holding it. Sugar, open a little wider. And then flavor. And Felicity, you want mint as well? All right, my kids are on a mint kick lately. Now it's only just a little bit, half a teaspoon or a teaspoon. Doesn't take much when it comes to the vanilla extract or whatever flavor that you do choose. All right, so you guys hold on to that for a little bit. Shake it up just a little bit, not too much. All right, so that's your base. That is what your ice cream is going to be made of. Now we do the freezing process. So to do that, you're going to take your quart bag, so the biggest bag that you have. All right, and Dean over here has already seen a little bit of leaking going on. So this is where the medium-sized bag comes into play, helps us with the small leaking that might take place, as well as keep the salt off the main bag here. All right. You want to put yours in there too? All right, so your primary bag is now double bagged. Double check, make sure the seal is nice and tight. Dean is off to get his gloves from school. All right, there we go. Struggle to tuck that one in there a little bit. All right, now we take our quart-size bag and you're gonna fill it about maybe a little more than halfway with ice. All right, and then you're going to take a 1/4 cup of salt. Now I already have the salt pre-poured here. Felicity will do the honors of pouring it in.
I cannot find my other one.
You're fine. Got it out for you. All right, and then you're going to shake that up a little bit. This will be yours, Felicity. So one more bag here. While I'm filling up this bag, I will explain a little bit of what's happening. Salt is what we call a good conductor. So if you put salt in water and you boil it, that water will actually boil faster than salt with or water without salt. Same goes with ice. When you have ice and you add salt to it, it actually makes that ice colder than it would be without the salt. And when that happens, it makes it possible for the ice cream to get colder than the 32 degrees necessary to freeze. So it gets colder and it gets colder faster. So we got another 1/4 cup of salt here. Pour it in. All right, and this is where things get a little bit tricky because now you have to take your bag, your base, as we'd call it when we're making ice cream without a Ziploc bag. You've got to stick it in the ice bag, but not just in there. You want the ice to surround the bag the small bag as much as possible. And so now you have a bag inside a bag inside a bag. All right, I'll help you in a second, bud. So once you get that ice completely surrounded, you want to work it around, get it covering as much of your small bag as possible. And you're just going to work it, shake it. So either you're trying to get the ice to cover the bag entirely, the inside bag, or you're trying to get the half and half and sugar on the inside bag, moving enough within its own little bag to touch the ice and freeze. All right, so Felicity, you can put on your gloves. I'll help you with this. So you will do this for about 6 minutes. Now remember, you don't want to just stuff the bag in there, right? If you do that, you kind of get an incident like Dean. He was forcing the issue and it looks like his bag might have broken its seal inside his medium-sized bag. You want to just kind of lay it flat and then lay it on top of those flat ice cubes. If you were to do this another way, maybe you could put in the base first and then add the ice on top of that. But now we're just going to shake it for 6 minutes. All right, Dean is opting to use this hand towel to keep his hands warm. Felicity over here has put on some little gloves, and so they're going to shake that. And while we freeze our ice cream, shake it up nice and good, we are going to have a little bit of a trivia game. All right, so I am going to go back to my PowerPoint, and I'm going to screen share. All right, you guys are going to play along, okay? So we have questions regarding ice cream. All right, question number 1 is which fast food chain does not serve ice cream? Is it McDonald's? Is it Wendy's? Is it Burger King, Dairy Queen, or none of the above? And I'm going to have Nick launch a poll so you guys can actually answer this in real time. So we'll give you about a minute to do that. So most of you say it's Burger King. I am kind of shocked nobody selected McDonald's. McDonald's has probably some of my least favorite frozen treats. Yes. I say frozen treats because the correct answer is, I see a lot of you saw that as probably trying to trick you with none of the above because that is exactly what I was trying to do. The answer is none of the above, right? And why is that? Because according to the FDA, there are 2 requirements to qualify as ice cream. That is that it has to be at least 10% butterfat, and it has to weigh at least 4.5 pounds per gallon. Why do you think that second requirement is in there? No one?
So we did have one individual who said in the chat that, oftentimes maybe their McDonald's next to them always has a broken ice cream machine.
Yeah, I guess you don't even get to enjoy it no matter what it is. So the reason it has to weigh 4.5 pounds per gallon is because, as I mentioned, that 5th component of ice cream is air, right? And when you're making ice cream, the faster that you churn it, the more air that it adds into the ice cream. Now, if I was somebody who ran a company that made ice cream, it would be really easy for me to just put as much air into as possible, right? Because air is free, sugar, cream, and everything else is not. And so the FDA said, no, that's not going to work. It has to weigh at least a certain amount. So by making it weigh a certain amount, it means they can't put too much air into your ice cream. But interesting fact, if you go to any of these restaurants, their menu will not say ice cream. It will say soft serve or vanilla cone or something like that. I knew McDonald's. Prior to this, I did my research and I learned that Dairy Queen even cannot call their ice cream, which I like Dairy Queen ice cream, so I was pretty disappointed about that. All right, we'll move on. Speaking of Dairy Queen, which billionaire owns Dairy Queen? Is it Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, or Oprah Winfrey? And Oprah is a millionaire. So again, you have a chance to answer the poll. All right, and of course I have to ask this question. as a finance educator, right? We're tying money back into it. All right, majority of you said it was Warren Buffett,
Yes.
and you would be correct. For the longest time, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett were the two richest people in the country. Jeff Bezos has passed them, along with Elon Musk. But here's a picture. It's kind of fun because Bill Gates, founder of Microsoft, is friends with Warren Buffett. And they actually did a fun little thing where they spent the day working at a Dairy Queen. So if you can imagine these people who are with billions of dollars serving you ice cream at your local restaurant. All right. Question number 3. There's only 2 more. How much ice cream does the average American consume a year? Is it 9 pounds, 13 pounds, 18 pounds, or 23 pounds? It's like 43% say 23, 29 say 13, and it looks like the right answer is, in fact, 23 pounds. So I did a little bit of back the napkin math. Ben and Jerry's right now is selling for $4 a pint at Albertsons. A pint is a pound, at least in Ben and Jerry's case. So you multiply 23 times 4, and you get $92. Now, that's assuming that you buy only Ben and Jerry's, but let's be honest, a lot of us go out to eat to our local ice cream shops or Dairy Queen for that matter. So we're probably spending more than $92 a year. I know I definitely am. All right, and the last question. Which country consumes the most ice cream per capita? So that means per individual. Is it New Zealand, United States, Australia, or Finland? Looks like most of you say it is United States, but the correct answer actually is New Zealand. So congratulations, New Zealand. I believe they consume something like 23 liters per year. The average person does. So United States does come in second, followed by Australia. And oddly enough, the very cold Nordic country of Finland consumes the 4th most. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at our ice cream now. If you can't tell, it should be setting up, getting a little bit harder and more solid. Now, it's not going to get like your normal ice cream solid. It's going to be kind of like a soft serve consistency.
Like Snow.
All right. Now, we'll take a look at Dean's here. So Dean, it appears that his is still kind of runny in the middle. Looks like it's kind of harder on the outside. Dean also took quite a few breaks during our quiz game. So you can go ahead and check it. If it's a consistency that you like, then pull it out. I would use a paper towel, maybe a wet paper towel, to wipe down the inside seal of your bag. Because remember, you mix a lot of salt with that ice. So there's going to be a chance that you get some salt on your lips or your spoon along the way. All right, we'll take a look here at Felicity's. Pull it out. All right, Felicity's also is still a little bit runny, so we're going to put hers in a little more. Of course, if you have extra ice or salt, you are more than welcome to add it and continue to freeze it until you get to a consistency that you like. Or you could also just toss it in the freezer for a little bit too to help firm it up. With that, I know we're over time, but if anyone wants to show their ice cream, maybe somebody's got a good solid ice cream going.